Welcome to Impactful Pictures SmartFlow training webinars for Auto Vitals. My name is Bill Connor, and I'll be your trainer for today. Our goal today is to empower you to know why pictures are important for job approval and how to edit those pictures and videos so you can train your staff right after today's training. Today we'll be using a Live Today's Vehicle page, tablet, and taking some polls along the way to make sure you're understanding the training and tracking right along with me. If you're live in the webinar, I encourage you to hold down the Alt key, hit the letter H, and chat in questions along the way. So what are impactful pictures and what do they have to do with the job approval? What we really have to remember is a customer will not buy what they don't understand. The solution is when the motorist is sent the inspection result, then has time to review it on their own, they then see clear, impactful images and videos of what's going on to their vehicle. This is full transparency. With those pictures on the inspection results, they're in a better position to make an educated buying decision. What we've done is move the customer in a position of authorization through self-education. And again, we want to put them in the mode to be ready to buy rather than having to defend themselves from what they perceive as high-pressure sales. Before the end of this training, you'll be able to do some things with your staff. What we want to do is make sure you've got a good understanding of the takeaways, and that is to make sure that everybody understands the proper and importance of good customer content going to the customer. And we're going to do that with our picture and video editing. We want to make sure you understand how to get your technicians and service advisors to work together as a team to make this impactful content for your customers. We're also going to show you some quick wins of what pictures and videos look like. And we're going to go through how to edit the pictures, add notes to the pictures, and so on. And once again, working to get your technicians and service advisors to work together as a team because we're all in it together. So there's some things you're going to need to get the most out of today's training. And the first one is to have your today's vehicle page open, your point of sale open, a tablet with your SmartFlow app open and logged into your shop and assigned to a technician of your choice. So I'm going to take a pause right here and either launch a poll or let you get ready. What we want to do is, before we finish the training today, is let you create a mock demo with some pictures on it so that way you can follow along and then train your staff as you go back to the shop. If you haven't already made it for our prior initial boost training, create a vehicle with the customer name of Blue Steel. Enter your own cell phone number so that you can send the information to you when we're finished. I'll be pasting the VIN number in chat, or I'll be including it on the recording. Make sure you create at least one labor line on it, preferably an inspection. And we're going to assign this repair order to a technician that's assigned to your tablet as we move on. So I'm going to pause here and let you take about a minute to create this vehicle if you haven't already done it. So what do motorists see when they get the inspection results sent to them? They're going to see a report similar to this, or on their phone it will be a different orientation, but there's a lot of valuable information for them. They'll be able to see the technician and service writer that's working on their vehicle. They'll be able to see the pictures they can tap on to zoom in and out, and they'll also be able to see some informational videos. Once again, make sure your customers know at drop-off how the tool works. Bookmark an inspection result and show them that they can tap on it, and it's going to let them zoom in and out. Make sure that they know there's informational videos here that will tell them about systems and components on their vehicle. And an important thing to remember is we want to make sure that they have everything they need to do to make good information or good decisions while they're out and about. So again, we want to be able to stop their thumb as they're scrolling through the device on their phone. We also talked about we want to take some pictures of things that are good, and our drop-off conversation with the customer goes along the lines of, ma'am or sir, this is what an inspection result looks like. You're going to see some pictures here. These are pictures of things that are good. You're going to see some pictures of things that are wearing and some things that are actually maybe in some cases actually need some attention. The reason why we take pictures of good items or things for future visits is because we can use that to help you predict over your service visits with us the rate things are wearing at in case you need to budget for future repairs. So that's a great thing to do. And what I'm going to do here in just a minute is actually start through the picture taking process and show you how to use some of the tools on your tablet. So what I'd like you to do is get your tablet out and follow along with me. And I'm going to put my little mini over here on the side so that way you can actually follow along with me and still be able to take a picture of what's in the center of the screen here. So if you would, dispatch your little Mini Cooper to a technician of your choice. Press the open button. Open an inspection sheet of your choice. And what we want to do first of all is find a brake topic. So in this condition, in this particular instance, I'm going to tap on my brake pad as far as it having no issues. I'm going to tap on the camera icon and I'm going to snap a picture of this. And if you would follow along, I wanted to add a red arrow. I want to take the red arrow and touch on the point end of it and drag it over toward where the brake gauge meets the caliper or the brake lining and rotate it around. I want you to tap the notepad on the bottom edge of your camera right here, and I want you to add a note. And I'm going to tap on the microphone to add this note here, and my note is going to say the arrow is pointing right directly to the inner brake pad on your front caliper, and it is in great shape today. 10 millimeters is almost new. And then click upload. And you finish out your first picture. The next thing I want to do is switch on to the next topic. And I'm going to move over and get my other image up here. I want to add an arrow. Again, we're going to take and point it right directly to it. The gauge is measuring your brake pad thickness at 6 millimeters, and we will monitor this on future services. And we're going to upload it also. And I just want to make sure we mark no topic on this one is needed. And on the second picture I took, I want to go ahead and make it to where it says suggested for future service. And you'll see why when we go do some editing. And again, it doesn't matter that we're putting these in the exact place they go because we're talking today about editing pictures. And so when you think about it, a battery status tester with the terminals, taking a picture of that can be a quick win. And if it's not, we're still showing the customer their condition of their battery changing over time as it comes in on subsequent visits. Cracking belts is another one. Brake pad thickness, so we've already taken a few pictures. Fluid leaks and anything in the suspension that has any kind of a movement, rattle, noise, even pulleys, grinding noises and things like that, because when we take video, the audio is still going to be captured with it. And you can see here a couple instances where we've actually done a pretty good job of doing that. But we're going to move forward a little bit more. And what I want to do is challenge you to understand is that a picture alone does not get you a job authorization. So when you look at this picture, whether you're a service advisor or technician, but more importantly, look at it in the eyes of the consumer, does this picture really tell you anything? Would it stop your thumb on the phone? Or could you even tell what's going on in the picture? So a picture alone doesn't really do justice. But now if we take it one step further and we put some emphasis on the picture by pointing an arrow to it, drawing a circle around it, and adding some text to it, this one here, it makes it very apparent that the tab on the connector was damaged and the sensor was not plugged in all the way. So can you see the difference between an edited and a non-edited picture? Think about the customer. Think about what they would see in the shop if a technician had actually had the service writer walk the customer out to the vehicle and the technician show them what's going on in the vehicle. I promise you the technician is going to take their finger, a laser pointer, or a long narrow screwdriver and point right to that connector, and they're going to say a few words to that customer. They're going to say, the tab is damaged, the sensor was not plugged in all the way, and this is what was causing your problem. And again, we don't really want the customer hanging around the shop, but we still want to use the number one tool that we've had for as long as I can remember, and that's show and tell at the side of the vehicle with the service advisor and the customer. Here's another before picture. I challenge you to find and tell me what was wrong with this. And again, look at it in the eyes of the customer. But now we've got a service writer and a technician is teamed up. The technician is taking his finger and drawing the red arrow. The service writer's added a circle right around it, and the technician actually supplied some text that the service writer enabled. So here it's very clear to the customer that the wire was damaged and it was disconnected. And again, you know, this is how we put the customer in the position of authorization through self-education, where they call the shop ready to talk about options and pricing. So we're going to take some more pictures here in just a minute, but before we do that, what I want to do is open up a live shop and make sure your settings are configured properly for the default colors for the arrows for the service advisor. And what we're going to do to make this verification is we're going to go over to the top left where the three bars are. That's called a hamburger menu. Left click. We're going to go down to where it says inspections and go to where it says inspection sheets. And we want to make sure the color for each of these statuses actually are colors that actually draw the customer's attention to it. To change the color, what you'll do is click on the pencil. And you'll make sure to come over here and use the color picker to choose the color of your choice. So good's normally green, future would be yellow or suggested for this service, and then fail would be red, just like a traffic signal. But you could have more statuses than this enabled for your shop, and you'd want to choose the appropriate color, and that's going to be the default color for your circles and arrows. What I'd like to do is have you follow along as I take some pictures that we'll be using to edit here in just a minute. So the first picture I'm going to take is going to be on the under hood topic, and it's going to be on the topic of brake fluid. And I know this is a brake fluid fail, so I'm going to tap on select condition, and I'm going to tap low fluid and contaminated. I'm going to tap off to the side, and I'm going to choose my action, which in this case is going to be a brake inspection because the fluid's low, obviously went somewhere, and a brake fluid exchange. I'm going to tap off to the side, and now I'm going to use the camera to capture our first picture. I'm going to focus on the master cylinder. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to say, yes, I want to add a red arrow. I'm going to take that arrow and take the point, and I'm going to point right at the fluid level. I'm going to rotate it around. And then I'm going to tap on the notepad right to the right of the red arrow and put a description here in words the customer can understand. I'm going to tap on a microphone, and I'm going to describe what I see in customer-friendly terms. The brake fluid is low. When it's low, that's normally a sign that the linings are wearing thin. and then OK, and then upload. Easy as pie. That's our first picture. I'm going to move over and I'm going to take the second picture, which is going to be on the same topic. So I'm going to tap the camera again. I'm going to get in close. Yes, I'm going to add an arrow. And that arrow is going to point right to the colored strip. And then I'm going to, again, add some words here to describe this to the customer. The red arrow is pointing right directly to this test strip, and you can see that it matches the testing strip tool where it says replace brake fluid due to contamination. I'm going to press the upload button. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tap on this camera button here. And what I want to do is make sure that you understand, as far as a technician, that by tapping on the camera in this area, you can go back and see your note, and you can also scroll through and see the pictures you've taken. That can be very handy for freeze frame data and other reasons. I'm going to tap into technician internal note area for shop eyes only. The brake fluid is dark brown, it's low, and it also fails the test. I recommend a complete wheels off brake inspection, and regardless of the pad thickness, a fluid exchange. I'm going to go down into the customer note area. Due to the brake pads being possibly thin due to low fluid level, I recommend a wheels off brake inspection. And in either case, I recommend a fluid exchange due to the contamination. So 2 different types of notes. I'm going to move on to the next picture that we want to take. In this condition here, what I want to do is under hood, I want to look for the belt topic, which in my case is the second one down. I'm going to tap the serpentine belt is worn out. I'm going to tap off to the side. You can see it's automatically marked at a fail. I'm going to say what I want to do about it, which is replace the serpentine belt. I'm going to tap the camera button again. I'm going to let it focus on my belt and tool. As I'm a good technician, I'm going to take an arrow and point right directly to it. Rotate it around. Let the customer what I see. Tap the microphone. This is a tool that we use to check the belt for wear. Sometimes they look good, but they are worn, and the tool is used as a gauge. And upload. And in this case, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go to the tablet icon on the inspection line itself, where you got the number 1 count now. I'm going to tap on it, and on the internal notes area, serpentine belt is worn on the face, slight cracking, new paragraph, 1 serpentine belt, 135 amp alternator, new paragraph, estimate 1.1 hours to replace. And then I'm going to go down to the customer area and put a note here. The belt face is worn and it should be replaced to prevent being stranded on the road. And I'm going to press OK. So now we've taken a picture and we've also taken some notes for the service riders. In this case, we've got another brake pad one. So I'm going to come in here and take our third picture on the brake linings. And I want to go to brake pad. And in this case, I'm going to say it's close to the end of its life. You're going to see it's automatically marked it with the yellow triangle. We don't want to do anything at this time, but we do want to take a picture of it. Want to add a red arrow. the arrow is pointing right directly to the brake linings that are between the caliper and the brake rotor. Again, we're only putting things here that are customer friendly. And I'm going to press upload. And in this case, we're going to tap on the icon and we're going to go ahead and record what the brake pad thickness is. And we're also going to say what the brake pad thickness was on the rear. We're going to come down here and add a note. We will be monitoring your brake pad thickness on future visits as they are starting to get thin. And press OK. Cool, we got an upside down battery, so we're going to go under hood. We're going to find the battery. We're going to select the condition. And nothing matches there, so we're just going to tap that it's OK because it hasn't failed the test. And we're going to take a picture anyways because we can use this when a customer calls us next week and says they wanted to buy a new battery. We can look up the history report and find out what group size it is without having to have them bring the car back in. So it's very helpful in cases where we want that customer to give us a call and let us know they're coming. And in this case, I'm going to tap on the icon. The battery group size is 95. And upload. Let's go on to the next picture. And now we're getting to where we actually want to bring up a video. So I'm going to bring a video over here that you can take a video of the video. And I've got the audio turned off so you can add your own. And I want to go under suspension on here. So I'm going to go under mid-rise height. And let's go to under vehicle. Let's see if we can find the suspension topic. And I'm going to go to other suggested items or notes, suggested service. And in this case, I'm going to override it because it's definitely a fail. I'm going to come over to my camera and tap on it. And then what I'm going to do is when you're ready, I'm going to give you a few seconds to get ready. I'm going to go ahead and actually play the video so that you can play and record the video also. So to do that, I'm going to tap the video button that's right underneath the camera button. Now it's enabled for a video. And I'm going to press the record button and let you take a video of the video. So in this case, what we're seeing is the ball joint popping in and out of the socket, and it really needs to be replaced because it's getting to be where it is going to be a safety issue shortly. Regardless, it's still changing your wheel alignment. So you can see it's captured a full 20 seconds of video along with the audio. Now we've got these nice markers at the end of them on both sides, and what that's for is to take and adjust the in and out point in the video. So in my case, I always prefer to let the service writer have all the information they need to work with, unless I've captured something that I don't want them to be able to hear or see. And now I'm going to tap the notepad that's now down in the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm going to add some notes to the video. You can clearly see the left lower ball joint has extreme wear, is affecting the alignment, and more importantly, is at the point of being a safety concern. And then upload. In this case, I'm going to tap the notepad for the service advisor and give them some information. The lower ball joint is worn, unsafe. New paragraph. Lower left ball joint. New line. eccentric bushing, new paragraph, estimate 2.3 hours to replace, and don't forget to add a wheel alignment to the repair order. The lower ball joint is worn, it's affecting your alignment, and more importantly, this is a safety concern that needs to be corrected immediately. And again, I've given the service advisor everything they need to do their job. Now that we've given the service advisor everything they need to work with, let's tap on the work order button, move back to the work order, find the inspection that we're working on, tap on the Smart Chat bubble to submit this to the service advisor, and then being we're completely done with the inspection, I'm going to tap 100% complete, and I'm going to continue as a technician working on other items that I have to work on. Let's go through and do some editing on our repair order. I'm going to come up here and left click on the link, move up on the screen a little bit more. I can see the technician submitted the inspection results. I'm going to left click on the inspection report. I'm going to come down and look at the different pictures that are here. I'm going to left click. And in this case, I can see that this is information about it. The technician is actually not marked it failed. So what I'm going to do is decide based on this picture and the next one, which one I'm going to use. So in this case, the technician has put an arrow pointing right directly to it. He's described what he has, so I'm going to approve his notes. The arrow is in a good place. I don't want to send anything to the customer upside down, so I'm going to click on the rotation tool. I'm going to rotate it till I have it in a proper orientation for the customer. I'm going to click on apply. I'm going to move to the next picture. In this case, I can see that he's taken a picture of the battery tester, and he's put a red arrow on there, so I want to turn that one off. I don't want to show the customer that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to this icon. It's been marked good, so it's automatically going to default to green. I'm going to left click on the arrow. I'm going to drag it over, and I'm going to point it right directly to good. And we're going to do this so we get the customer, just like a traffic signal, to start getting into mindset green, yellow, red. So that way on subsequent visits, we're actually stepping them along in the process. I'm going to click apply. I'm going to move to the next picture. I don't need to show this one anymore. I'm going to look at the next picture, look and see what the technician's done. Actually, he's got an arrow in the appropriate spot. That's really good. He's got a lot of good notes up there. I'm going to read through the notes. That looks like he's done a really good job. A good job here also. And again, as I went through here, I've made sure that one's turned off. I don't want to show the customer anything that doesn't make sense. I'm going to move on to the next one. I can see this is already turned off, and the tech's got a lot of good notes there, and this tech is always good about putting arrows there, so I'm going to go ahead and read through his information here. I'm going to mark this one approved. I'm going to read down through the notes here. He's done a great job here also. I'm going to move on to the next one. Now here we've got some information up on the top where the technician has actually marked some measurements. And I'm going to look over here, and you know what? He's got an arrow pointing right directly to it, but I can't show that because this topic is marked future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. See, it's marked that it's close to the end of its life. I'm going to actually show the dimensions. And I'm going to come down here and turn it on so it can be seen. I'm going to approve these notes because he did a good job on it. I'm going to come over here and click here to add an arrow. And now, because this is marked for a future service, I'm going to rotate this arrow around. And I'm going to add a second arrow so that way the customer can see I'm pointing to the brake pad thickness between the two arrows. Again, I want to be fully informational for the customer. I'm going to press the left arrow, or excuse me, the right arrow, and go on to the next picture. And again, I don't need to see that any longer. I'm going to move on to this picture here. Looks like the technician did a pretty good job on that, but let's see what he did with the arrow. And he's got a nice arrow pointing right directly to it, so I'm going to mark this approved. These are customer-facing notes on the inspection topic line. And I'm going to mark these approved because he's done a good job here also. I'm going to press next. And in this case, this is going to be the information that is on the video itself. And you can see in this area that there's no picture here because we don't edit the video here. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just mark this approved because this is the note that I want to be on the video. I'm going to press next. I can see that I've got no more notes to approve because now it's on 0. And I'm going to press close. As I go down through the inspection sheet, I'm going to look through here, and if I had any notes that weren't approved, they'd be grayed out. And I'm going to keep scrolling down through here, and I'm going to look at my video, and I want to take you through a little bit of video editing. So I'm going to left click on the video to open it up. I'm going to look at the video and just give you a quick way to edit. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the end point on the video. I don't want it to start playing until it gets there, so I'm trimming some off of the beginning. I'm going to come over here and trim a little bit off the end. And I'm going to come in here about the middle and say I want my notes to be coming on at this particular time. I'm going to go ahead and mark cut, so it's going to cut it to that length. And then I'm going to mark approve. And now I should be ready to go. So if you've been following along, I'm going to press the view button and let's take a look at it. So in this case, what I'm going to do is come down here and do a little quality control check. Here's our information we had on there. Here's our battery that's turned right side up, and we have our group size on it now. We come down in here into suggested for service. You can see the arrow pointing to the low fluid. And again, this is just as suggested at this time because it's not in the, danger zone, but we do require or suggest that they do a brake inspection and so on. I'm going to come down here also to the brake pads. You can see that this is showing them where the arrows are pointing. Very descriptive. Come down a little bit further. I'm going to click on and read our notes on the belt. Again, highly educational to the customer. And we're going to come down and make sure our video is ready to play and it's trimmed. Now that you've had a little bit of practice editing, how do we measure to see how successful you are with your staff? So to do that, what we're going to do is come over and get to the today's vehicle page, left click on the hamburger menu, go down to where it says Business Control Panel Shop Meeting. We're going to log in with our fail-safe account. And what I'm going to highly encourage you to do is come in here in the settings area and set some thresholds for your shop. So I've already got ARO configured here, but what I want to do is come in here and write inspection rate. And this is a test shop, so it's going to show low. But what I want to do is I want to see whenever I get to my inspection rate at 60% of the vehicles that come in the shop. The next thing I want to know is, are we actually sending the results to the customer? I want you to be able to measure that. And I want you to set it to in the 60% range also. And the next thing we want to do is configure it for edited pictures. And again, we want to set it for the 30% range as a target goal. How you're going to be using this is with your product advisor or digital coach is you're going to come in here to where it says primary. Now I've switched over to live shop, and you can see that they have their goals and accountability here, and they can also filter by the individual employees to see who's doing well and who's not. So again, get with your digital coach or product advisor, have them help you set up your business control panel, the thresholds, and you're ready to work. I highly encourage you to use the business control panel to conduct weekly meetings. Keep an eye on the metrics. These are things that we recommend. Each shop is going to be different, and the main thing is to keep moving forward, keep measuring, document the changes, and continue to grow. Do you feel empowered to go back to your staff and train after what you just learned? We'll also be at the end of this webinar, we'll be putting some links in the chat to take you directly to the recording, and we'll break it down into chunks so that if you need any reinforcement or you'd like to use the recording to train your staff, you'll know exactly where to find it in the academy that's on your hamburger flyout menu.